Professor Regan is a scientist with a dream. She's putting any product that uses science to sell under the microscope and making sure every marketing claim is true to its word. She wants to know, when it comes to adverts, can we believe the science? Because she's creating a magic emporium where everything does exactly what it says on the tin. This week she's taking on the multi-billion-pound diet industry. She'll use herself as a guinea pig.
This is just dreadful.
Come up with her own proven weight loss plan.
I think that's extraordinary. 6 centimetres from your waist in a month, that's quite a lot.
Taste test some of the industry's strangest products.
Oh, no. No, that's that watering up.
And challenge some of the biggest names in the business.
I can't make up my own mind because I'm not allowed to read the research that was done. Is that correct?
Professor Regan is looking for the scientifically proven products that deliver their promise of a way to eat yourself slim and healthy forever. So just which ones will make it into Professor Regan's diet clinic? For 14 years, Professor Regan has run the obstetrics and gynecology department at St. Mary's Hospital.
Hi, Patrick. It's Prof. Regan speaking.
Every treatment and drug used in her clinic is backed up by rigorous scientific research.
Another bad hair day.
Scientific proof really means something here.
Right, small clip to me, please.
But now, Professor Regan's taking her scientific standards out of the hospital and applying them to her own life. Like millions of us, Professor Regan struggled with her weight and works hard to maintain her good figure.
I used to be a fat teenager. And if you've been a fat teenager, then you think for the rest of your life you think you're a fat person. Yes, I was always trying something, some wonder diet that was going to sort of reduce my size dramatically within a couple of days. And it affected how I felt subsequently.
OK, darling. Here's your sandwich.
If there's a way she could maintain her figure and good health without any effort, she wants to know about it.
Love you. Oh, I've left lipstick all over your face.
She wants to find a diet that guarantees a weight loss of 10 pounds a year. Discovered if raw carrots are the ultimate health food. And find vitamins that will keep us healthy forever. But first in line to be tested are weight loss products. Nearly 2/3 of us are overweight, and we spend £10 billion a year trying to get thin. And the ultimate dieter's dream is to lose weight by popping a simple little pill. The diet pill. It seems Professor Regan has come across one brand that sounds very convincing. It's shown dramatic weight loss results in previous trials. And being a scientist, she's decided to see just how effective it is by setting up her very own experiment. She's boxed up over 1,000 diet pills and recruited 17 human guinea pigs with a lot of weight to lose.
OK, Mark, would you like to come through to be weighed and measured? About 40% of your body weight is fat. Does that surprise you?
It's a huge amount, isn't it?
You're actually carrying around every day with you 32.3 kilograms of fat. Just want to put yourself on the bed.
Well, I belly dance, and I would like to be in a nice costume, not in a very large costume.
She can't tell them exactly what's in her diet pills, But with a product this good, they're prepared to take them anyway.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for coming to join us and for participating in this very exciting experiment. So this is a brand new weight management pill that's not yet been released in the UK. What I'd like you to do is to take 1 tablet 3 times a day with a glass of water. And it's very important that during the month when you're taking this course of tablets, that you stick to a balanced, sensible diet and a regular exercise programme as well. And I'm confident that you're going to have lost some weight. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Professor Regan hopes that over the next month she'll get miraculous weight loss results with her magic pills.
Yes, well. Bye-bye.
In the meantime, she wants to check out the competition. Diet pills available on prescription have real science behind them. But what about the ones you can simply buy off the shelf? We're so keen to believe in the ultimate weight loss dream, we spend an estimated £10 million a year on diet pills and patches. Some claim incredible weight loss results. But what evidence do they have to back up their claim? Professor Regan has asked some of the main diet pill companies to send her their scientific research. Meanwhile, Professor Regan's own diet pill experiment is in full swing, and some of the early results are very impressive.
I've lost about 3 or 4 pounds and I firmed up, although it might not look like it.
I feel a lot healthier and a lot happier. Kids say I've lost weight on my bum.
Just taking the tablet before a meal does make me feel less hungry.
At the end of the experiment, over 70% of the volunteers lost weight.
That is a kilo of fat. Now, you've lost almost 4 kilos. So you've actually lost 4 of them from around your body.
4 of those. Isn't that extraordinary? Thank you.
They all seem happy with their results.
10 of you have lost weight, so that's 77% of this trial group have lost weight, which is a lot by anybody's standards.
But will they still be smiling when they find out what they've really been taking for the last 4 weeks?
The pills that you were taking, these white pills and these blister packs, didn't contain any active ingredient.
It was a placebo.
That's right. And what I think is really interesting is that although those pills didn't contain any substance that could help you lose weight, most of you did. Is anyone cross with me? No. Come on, you can own up. My back is broad.
I just know not to waste my money on diet pills.
So her magic diet pills she's named Brand X were placebos and contained no active weight loss ingredients. But her results would still be good enough to launch an impressive marketing campaign.
Well, it's extraordinary, isn't it? It actually works, that sort of power of mind over matter. But what really struck me is so many of them said, specifically, well, actually, it was the water that made me full, but I started thinking about what I was eating, and I didn't snack because I thought, oh, I've got to go meet all those people a month from now. Come on in a bit. Have to bunch up. Come on, Pam, you have to come in a bit as well, I think. How are we going to bunch up?
Because it was so easy to get impressive weight loss results with just a placebo, Professor Regan's skeptical about the diet pills you find on the shelves.
So I really do want to know where the evidence is that can convince me that it's the active ingredient in these diet pills that is helping people to lose weight.
Professor Regan's heard back from some of the diet pill companies following her request for their scientific research. Some sent her nothing. Lipobind sent her a few papers which showed their diet pills bind to fat, but they didn't have any trials showing their diet pills resulted in actual weight loss. They did say, however, they're running a new study into weight loss and appetite suppression later on this year. But for now, this product wouldn't pass Professor Regan's 3 golden rules for good science. Rule number 1. The results are published in a reputable scientific journal. Rule 2. The statistics show the results are significant and relevant to what you want the product to do. In this case, show a clear link to weight loss. And Rule 3, the trials are carried out with a control group who take placebo pills for comparison in more than one study. One paper did show a clear link to weight loss. It was for a herbal diet pill called Zotrim that claims to make you feel full. Dr. Trevor Jarman, the chief executive of Nature's Remedies Limited, who makes Zotrim, was prepared to meet Professor Regan to discuss it further.
Hello, Professor Regan.
Very, very nice to meet you.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you
pleased
so
to meet
much
you
for
too.
coming. Please come on and sit
All right,
down.
thank you.
The paper meets her first golden rule because it was published in a reputable scientific journal. But what about her second golden rule? Good statistics that show weight loss.
If I'm right, there weren't any statistics included in that particular publication.
Not in that publication.
Why
but,
was that?
I wasn't the author of the paper. You'd have to ask them.
But you must have asked yourself that question.
Yes, we did, and therefore we sought the independent analysis of a statistician.
And what findings did you get?
The findings were that those were highly statistically significant.
I think you made a mistake then, not including the statistics, because it's quite a powerful argument if you give me the statistics too.
Yeah, okay.
It's unusual to leave statistics out of a paper, but the additional analysis they carried out did meet Professor Regan's rule number 2, because the difference in weight loss between the group taking Zotrim and the group taking a placebo was statistically significant. However, it's the paper's final conclusion that Professor Regan believes lets Zotrim down.
This is the penultimate paragraph, and it's suggesting that there may be evidence there, but actually more experiments need to be done.
It's quite standard in a scientific paper that when investigators have come up with some very interesting findings, that they do suggest that further investigations are carried out.
The company have done more research, but none of the new studies meet her final golden rule, having a comparison group taking a fake placebo pill.
Do you not think it would have been so much more powerful if you'd had placebo control? You would have persuaded me still further.
Well, it would have been more powerful in an ideal world, but placebo-controlled studies do tend to be very expensive, and as a small company, there's a limit to what we can do.
For Professor Regan, one small study is not enough. She'd like to see the study repeated and the results replicated.
It was one study that really demonstrated the benefit of this product, Zotrim. So before I went out to buy this product, I'd like to see some more evidence of its benefits.
So if you are going to buy diet pills off the shelf, Professor Regan has one important piece of advice.
My recommendation would be that you ask them for their published research which shows that they've linked their product to actual weight loss.
The research that Professor Regan was sent about the major diet pills you can buy off the shelf didn't convince her. So until the research reaches a higher standard, they're out. With no magic pill to help her, Professor Regan is turning to a diet for her weight loss solution. In this celebrity-driven society, the pressure to be thin is everywhere. In Britain, 1/3 of us are trying to lose weight at any one time. For a truly scientific diet, Professor Regan's going straight to a top scientist. She's meeting up with Dr. Susan Jebb from the Human Nutrition Research Unit in Cambridge. She's one of the UK's leading diet experts
Lie down, make yourself comfortable.
and knows the secret to a perfect diet starts with the calorie. She's going to use Professor Regan to demonstrate why.
Going to measure your metabolic rate whilst you're lying here at rest. So this is going to tell us how many calories you're burning off just lying still, just lying, relaxing.
little bit claustrophobic in here, but I'm sure I'll be able to cope.
One of the things that patients often say to me is that they can't lose weight because they've got a very slow metabolic rate. Is there any truth in this, or is it a myth?
It's a myth for the most part. Your metabolic rate really depends critically on your size, and the bigger you are, the higher your metabolic rate will tend to be. Your metabolism also goes down a little bit as you get older.
So I need fewer calories as I grow older to maintain my threshold?
Yes, and that increase is particularly marked as you get into your sort of 50s, particularly 60s. We start to see a more noticeable decline.
For the next 30 minutes, Professor Regan has to lie perfectly still. She's never had to work so hard in her life.
Half an hour's peace and quiet. What we've measured is that if you were to stay like this throughout the whole day, you'd use up about 1,300 calories if you were just to lie quietly for the whole day.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing. What's important, though, is that your weight is a balance between the calories that you're burning off, which we've been measuring with this machine, and the calories that you eat. So you can think of it like this, that if you are consuming 2,500 calories every day, but you're only burning off 2,000, that gives you 500 calories, which are going to be piled into your fat stores.
Every day?
Every day. And 500 calories a day adds up to a pound of fat in just 1 week.
But that's a phenomenal amount, isn't it? And that means over a year, I would put on 52 pounds.
Professor Regan's discovered the holy grail to weight loss, and it's based on one simple rule: burn more calories than you eat. If it's all down to simple calories, why do so many diets seem to rely on a magic ingredient? There's been no end of fatty foods promising miraculous weight loss. In the 1920s, they tried whale blubber. The 30s had the hay diet. The 50s brought the cigarette diet. By the 80s, Hollywood was eating grapefruits, and Beverly Hills just ate fruit. The millennium saw the arrival of the coconut diet, closely followed by the maple syrup diet. In 2009, crash diets are still going strong. Professor Regan wants to get to the bottom of the crash diet, the ultimate quick fix weight loss solution. Is it down to the simple calorie or the magic weight loss ingredient? The maple syrup diet is currently one of the most popular. Apparently, pop star Beyoncé lost a staggering 1.5 stone in just 2 weeks whilst trying it. And Professor Regan's found someone brave enough to attempt it.
It's really restrictive on what you can and can't drink.
Erin Patterson will be drinking a cocktail of lemon juice, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and mineral water. She's read you can lose up to 2 pounds a day because the ingredients have special weight loss properties.
It helps speeds up your metabolism a bit. The maple syrup is really good for your body.
For the next fortnight, she'll be surviving on just 12 of these drinks a day and no food.
It's day 1 of the diet. I'm going to be weighing myself, but I don't actually want to know how much I weigh. But you're more than welcome to take a look. Just don't tell me.
Erin weighs 14 stone and 10 pounds. Over the next 2 weeks, her aim is to drop at least a dress size.
My mom is coming to visit me. I haven't seen her in about a year. So, and I've put on a lot of weight since she's last seen me, so.
So how will she cope on the extreme diet?
Today has been really difficult. I couldn't do anything. I was just so tired. I pretty much just stayed on the sofa. I'm not hungry at all still, which again I'm finding really bizarre because I haven't eaten now since Friday. That's pretty good.
Erin's on the diet to look better, but losing weight can also give you important health benefits. Being obese can increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes. It can even shave 7 years off your life. But is all fat really a potential killer? To find out, Professor Regan is about to reveal yet more intimate personal details to Dr. Jeb.
Hello, Susan.
Hi, Lesley.
So what are we going to do today?
This machine is a bod pod and will measure exactly how fat Professor Regan is.
I need you to change into your swimming costume.
Goodness me.
She's been ordered to slip into something a little less comfortable.
How are you feeling, Lesley?
A little revealed.
Pop that on as tightly as possible and squeeze all your hair inside it.
This is just dreadful. Just dreadful.
The bod pod will measure the volume of Professor Regan's body, which will allow Dr. Jeb to work out just how much of it is fat.
Are you feeling a little bit claustrophobic, or are you okay? Yeah.
It's all right.
At least you can see out.
Not for too long.
3 minutes later, and Professor Regan's body fat has been calculated.
How did that feel?
Well, it'd be a lot
Take
better.
your hat with your hat off.
Well, that was a very strange experience. And there was always clanking noises going on in the background, sort of coming from this end and this end and this end.
What this shows us is that there's 35 pounds of fat.
35
and
pounds?
That's only 16 kilos. So that's very, very similar to just under a quarter of your body weight is actually fat.
What's it doing, all this fat?
Fat is actually a really important metabolically active part of your body. Sometimes we now describe it as one of the biggest endocrine organs in the body because it's churning out
this
hormones.
fat, which is distributed all over, under my skin, around my organs, inside my tummy. You perceive it as an organ, one organ.
Absolutely.
And it's a metabolically important organ.
Absolutely.
I was really quite shocked by that. A quarter of me is fat. I mean, I thought there were some widgy bits, but a quarter of me fat.
Despite Professor Regan's worries, not all body fat is bad for you. It provides an important energy reserve and keeps us warm. But where the fat is stored in the body is critical to whether it might do you any harm.
What we're going to do now is to try to measure your visceral fat, the fat right deep down inside your tummy.
That's all the stuff cuddling up my organs.
Absolutely. If you just pop onto the bed,
OK.
head up this end.
Yes.
And I'm just going to move this over your tummy.
What makes fat carried around the trunk so dangerous for long-term health?
Fat in the abdomen is quite metabolically active. It's producing all sorts of hormones and other proteins which impact on the body's metabolism. And this fat is most strongly linked to your chances of developing heart disease, diabetes. And it's giving you a score of 2.5, and that's really low.
It's moments like these when Professor Regan can be rather smug. But how's Erin getting on with reducing her body fat? She's halfway through the maple syrup crash diet, and things are getting tough.
Today, to be honest, I feel like complete and utter shit. I had a really bad sleep last night. I had a couple of drinks and a bit to eat. And not very much. To be honest, I don't even know if I could say I'm still on the diet. Diets really are such a pain, aren't they? It's so easy to put on, but it's just so difficult to get off.
Despite a few setbacks, Erin's managed to get to the end of her diet.
And do you think you've lost weight? I hope so. God, I hope so. After all that, after all those damn lemons.
Luckily for Erin, the crash diet worked.
I still don't want to take a look, but you can.
She went from 14 stone 10 pounds to 14 stone 3 in just 2 weeks.
That's pretty good. That's more than a couple, so yeah, I'm definitely pleased.
But it's not surprising. She was surviving on just 500 calories a day, less than half of what Professor Regan was burning, just lying down doing absolutely nothing. And severely restricting your calories is the key to a crash diet.
So easy to put on.
Crash diets do what it says on the tin. They're a short-term way of losing weight, but there's no evidence that this weight loss is maintained in the long term.
I'm really kind of bored with it now.
In principle, people could lose weight by eating 500 calories a day from almost any food they chose, if they were able to stick to it. But the real concern is that unless you can change your habits for life, this is simply going to be a short period where you have a pretty rough time of it, and then you put the weight back on again. The fact is that if you want to be a size 12, you need to eat like a size 12 for life.
Every single diet, from Atkins to the maple syrup to the cabbage soup diet, can only work for one reason. You eat fewer calories than you burn. So will any diet make it into Professor Regan's dream diet clinic?
I did find a lot of evidence showing that eating a healthy diet and taking regular exercise produces long-term weight loss. In fact, over 1,000 scientific papers. Diet books and products, if they work, are just the same old story repackaged and sold back to you. And the best thing about this advice is it's free.
And science's answer to weight loss can be remarkably easy. It's all about making small daily changes to your calorie intake. Cutting out one snack a day, like a biscuit, could shed 10 pounds of fat in a year. Swapping to a skinny muffin and latte could save you 293 calories a day. That's over 30 pounds of fat in a year. When it comes to Professor Regan's scientifically proven diet clinic, crash dieting doesn't make it in, as it's not going to give you the perfect figure forever. But trainers and fruit and vegetables are stacked up high, as regular exercise and healthy eating will keep you trim for life.
What are you cooking, Mom?
I'm cooking sea bass, darling.
Eating a good balanced diet is key to leading a healthy life.
I'm a bit nervous because I've never used this recipe before.
But Professor Regan, like most of us, only has time for this sort of home cooking on holiday.
Wow.
But as ever, the marketing men have found a way to help you eat well every day. Because they've developed a range of foods that claim to keep you healthy without the hard work. But what do words like goodness or extra light really mean? We all assume low-fat food will be better for us, so it's a massive money spinner. And creating a low-fat product is a closely guarded industry secret. Before she can decide if they're worth the money, Professor Regan needs to discover their magic recipe. She's found her way inside a top-secret lab. Here, 150 food scientists and 70 professional tasters are creating new and wonderful ways of making well-known products. They've let Professor Regan into their headquarters to see just how a low-fat product is born.
So
Alice Pegg is an expert in mayonnaise, a product we spend nearly £100 million a year on.
Keep you nice and clean.
Regular mayonnaise is a whopping 70% fat, so it's no surprise they'd like to get rid of the offending ingredient.
Rather ridiculous, don't they?
First, Alice wants to remind her of the real thing.
Here we are done. You can see it's a really nice, thick texture.
Right, I'll
So
taste
tuck
now.
in,
Yeah?
please do.
Really is delicious. Cool. I know that one of the reasons my taste buds like it is because it's got all that fat crammed into it. It feels very rich and creamy.
One of the things we're now going to do is actually demonstrate that if we literally just took the fat out, what would the mayonnaise look like?
Can I have another little taste before? It's delicious.
You may not want to eat the whole pot.
So you'd think all they need to do is take the fat out. But it's not quite as easy as that.
If we've got less fat, we have to replace the fat with water.
It's very runny in comparison, isn't it?
And I
Oh
think
my
you could see-
goodness.
certainly have difficulty putting that on your sandwiches.
Completely different.
One of the biggest problems when you're taking out the fat is putting the bulk back in because we think that thickness, that lovely texture. So we have to replace that texture with something.
To transform this watery muck into low-fat mayonnaise, there are two magic ingredients.
We have starch.
A lot of starch.
A lot of starch. And this will give most of the thickness, so that nice thickness that you get. But the texture still isn't quite right. So the next thing we use is xanthan gum. And xanthan gum, again, adds viscosity, it adds body to it. It's actually from the bacteria. You know if lettuce goes slimy in the fridge?
Yes.
The slimy bit on your slimy lettuce is what xanthan is. So it's
I just
much,
think that's
much
amazing,
thicker.
though, that it's starch and slimy lettuce muck.
Are Professor Regan's taste buds as highly qualified as she is? Can she pick out the low-fat mayonnaise? First, the low-fat mayonnaise with 38% fat.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether that's got that powdery taste to it as well.
Next, the mayo with no fat replacement.
Oh, no. No, that's that watery muck.
Finally, the full-fat mayo with 70% fat.
I think that was the low-fat one, the last one.
The last one. That was the 70% fat one.
Oh, well done! You've perfected the process then. Well done, you.
The science behind low-fat mayonnaise was good enough to fool Professor Regan. But the low-fat version is still incredibly high in fat, with a staggering 38% fat. And fat means calories.
I think many people assume that because it's lower in fat, it will be lower in calories, and that's not always the case, is it?
It isn't always the case. I mean, obviously, one of the things people always try to do is lower the calories as well as lowering the fat. But you have to put something else back in there. And therefore, you may be putting some calories back in.
Because this lower-fat mayonnaise is still so high in fat, it wouldn't be called low-fat in the supermarket. Instead, the marketing men have to use words like reduced or extra light. So if you're going to buy a low-fat product, you have to be incredibly careful you understand the labeling. Reduced or extra light products can still contain a massive 30% fat. So if you want a truly low-fat option, choose low-fat foods which have 3% fat or less. Or even better, fat-free, which contains 0.5% fat. For low-fat products, Professor Regan has hit upon one essential golden rule. And it all comes back to the simple calorie.
If you're going to buy low-fat products, make sure that you check the number of calories in them and ensure that the low-fat version doesn't actually have more calories than the full-fat version.
So low-fat products make it into Professor Regan's scientifically proven diet clinic. but only the ones that are really low fat, with less than 3% fat. So far, low-fat food is the only product to satisfy Professor Regan. She's failed to find a miracle weight loss cure in pill, book, or diet form. But there is one last line to pursue. A-list celebs have promoted the macrobiotic and the raw food diets in the pursuit of ultimate health. And most of us would agree that raw, fresh vegetables are top of the health food list. But is fresh and raw food really the key to ultimate well-being? Well, it turns out it might not be that simple. To get to the bottom of it, Professor Regan needs to start with the humble raw carrot.
Hello, Lesley. Lovely to meet you.
Richard Fawkes at the Institute of Food Research has agreed to let Professor Regan help with a rather unusual experiment. He's the proud owner of the world's first computerized stomach model.
The model is designed to cope with food as we eat. So it can have steak and chips, it can have fish and chips, it can have soup, it can even have fizzy drinks.
We're often told that raw food is better for you nutritionally than processed. Whether it's canning, freezing, or pasteurizing, messing with food in its natural state is generally seen as a bad thing.
We're going to peel some carrots, and then we're going to chew them up.
To find out if this is true, Professor Regan has been demoted to lab assistant.
We'll get a beaker and we'll chew some.
We've already got, well, you're on carrot number 4 now, so how many carrots are you expecting to eat today,
I think
Richard?
we should chew up 1 or 2 each. They're not very big, are they?
Well, if you say so, yes.
Richard wants to find out if preparing the carrots in different ways, like cooking or blending, affects the amount of nutrients that are available for the body to absorb.
You've got the big one. I'll have a smaller one.
Well,
Right.
you can have the next big one.
Right.
So this is my spittoon,
That's
is
your
it?
spittoon, yes. If you, well,
And so what do you want me to do, Richard?
just bite.
The stomach model needs to receive the carrots in exactly the same way as a real stomach would. So chewing and spitting is the only way to prepare the sample.
It's quite a difficult.
How elegant.
It's quite a difficult task to do, actually.
And normally Richard doesn't have the luxury of such a glamorous assistant.
Okay.
He's interested in one particular nutrient, beta-carotene, which gives carrots its orange color.
Oh, very tasty.
Beta-carotene is converted in the body to vitamin A.
How elegant.
It's quite a difficult task to do, actually.
All my formative years teach me not to spit, and now I'm doing it on the television.
Around 1,000 chews later, the sample is finally ready.
Okay, let's pop it in there. Ooh. The model is designed to work in real time, and it can work for, normally for anything from a few minutes for a glass of water up to 3 or 4 hours for a full, fairly high-fat meal. I'm going to do a reset, but don't worry.
After 12 minutes, the chewed-up raw carrots have passed through the stomach model.
This is remaining the material.
Oil is then added to the sample, which changes color depending on how much beta-carotene has been released. The darker the oil, the more beta-carotene is available for the body to absorb. The raw carrot sample is compared to carrots that have been processed in other ways, some boiled and others blended and boiled. The results are not what Professor Regan expected.
This is the chewed raw carrot, and as you can see, it is pale yellow. And from this, you get about 5% of beta-carotene absorption, which is what you'd get if you ate it. If we move to the chewed boiled carrot,
So this is the chewed one.
it's darker. We're getting more beta-carotene, so boiling the carrot to make it soft and more easily broken down increases the amount of beta-carotene you can get.
In fact, you get around 60% of beta-carotene with boiled carrots. And carrots that are blended and boiled can have a whopping 90%.
So it just indicates that the smaller the particles, the more you smash it up, the better the beta-carotene becomes available for absorption.
So I spent all these years believing that I should eat my carrots raw.
Well, they taste delicious raw, but you don't get a great deal of beta-carotene from them. 10 times more beta-carotene from the processed carrot than from the raw carrot.
But other nutrients can get destroyed going through the processing. So what's the solution?
Fresh is best in some circumstances, and processed is better in other circumstances. The take-home message is eat both. Don't shun processed foods simply because for some reason they've got a poor image or they have been given a poor image. Eat a combination of both.
So, has Professor Regan seen enough to justify her stamp of approval for processed food? Well, despite their often bad reputation, some processed foods like canned vegetables and frozen peas do make it in. But only the ones that are also low in salt and sugar. There's one final product that Professor Regan wants in her dream diet clinic, and it's the holy grail for ultimate health. Vitamins.
A real choice here. Rows and rows and rows of them.
In the UK, an estimated 20 million of us take supplements, shoring up a whopping £330 million a year industry.
Multivitamins, vitamins that you can chew, with over 20 micronutrients.
We seem to think if we take these, we might not need to worry so much about what we eat. We could rely on them to boost our immune system and even get shiny hair and beautiful skin. But does such a supplement exist?
Omega-3 and omega-6 in them, together with blackcurrant seed oil. Just trying to think about the seeds of a blackcurrant. I've never really thought of blackcurrants as having seeds.
Could vitamin pills really be the answer to all our diet problems?
I'm always rather puzzled why you need to swallow all these vitamins and pills. I mean, if you eat a sensible diet, my understanding is that that's what's needed.
Professor Regan wants to know if taking supplements is really necessary, so she's recruited 2 vitamin fans. Lucy Andrews has been taking vitamins for the last 15 years. Josephine Watson has been taking them for most of her life.
Okay, I take vitamin A 1 a day. I take vitamin B6.
I take vitamin C 1,000 milligrams, zinc,
vitamin D, vitamin E 200.
I take the B complex vitamins, milk thistle,
evening primrose oil,
and flaxseed oil. I take vitamins just because I think possibly my diet might be lacking in some areas. Hopefully the vitamins will make that deficit up.
Taking it over the years, I've never been off sick. I've been with my job for 20 years now, and I've never been off sick at all.
Between them, they take over 90 vitamins a week. But do they really need to be swallowing all these pills? To find out, Professor Regan has asked them to fill out a detailed food diary for 4 days, which will closely monitor what they eat and drink. From every bite and forkful of food to a sip of tea. If they are lacking in any vitamins and minerals because of a poor diet, their food diaries will reveal all. Nutrition scientist Dr. Alison Lennox has been analysing the results, and she's discovered something very interesting.
Compared to the amount that you need of each of these minerals and vitamins, you get more than that from your diet.
It's really interesting.
So how do you feel about that?
I'm very surprised. I just assumed that food that I was eating just did not have the amounts of vitamins and minerals that I needed.
Lucy also gets all the vitamins and minerals she needs from her diet alone. For some vitamins, she's getting way more than the recommended daily amount.
For the vitamin A, you can see that you're getting nearly 5,000 micrograms. The amount that you need is about 600 micrograms a day, so you've got way more than you need.
Does that mean I shouldn't take the vitamin A supplement?
Well, you don't need to, because you get, as you can see, you get more than enough.
Josephine is getting 5 times the daily amount of vitamin C just from the food she eats.
Do you take a supplement of vitamin C?
I do, yeah. I take quite a high supplement, 1,000 milligrams.
And what do you think that does for you?
Well, I think it's vitamin C is an antioxidant, isn't it? So I think that helps me sort of counteract the downsides of my diet. That kind of balances that out.
Okay. You get an awful lot from your food. Probably
you can't
more
overdose on it anyway, can you? You can't have too much vitamin C.
Well, we're
You
not
can't-
sure about
yeah.
that. The likelihood is it'll just get excreted every day.
So it's money down the drain then?
Actually, literally,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So just how much money has gone down the drain in the last 15 years?
No way. It's a heck of a lot of money, isn't it? It's a sort of luxury cruise.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, no, no, I suppose I won't be visiting the health food shop so much in the future. I could be doing with that now. I could be doing with a refund.
Yes, a lot of money.
There are some people that do benefit from taking supplements. Professor Regan knows folic acid supplements for pregnant women are backed up by good science. But if you are healthy and eat a good diet, are there any benefits in taking vitamins? Or are they a waste of money? Professor Regan wanted to put this question directly to Vitabiotics and other leading vitamin companies, but they were very hard to pin down. Eventually, she found some representatives from the vitamin industry that were prepared to answer her questions.
I've got a fantastic diet and I'm very healthy. Should I be taking a supplement?
Depends how healthy your diet really is. I suspect it's not healthy every day, so why not take a supplement?
I would say yes, same as I do.
Why?
Because I feel, for me also, that it is an insurance policy. The difficulty we've got nowadays is the food itself doesn't contain the nutrients it should have. People have got a lot of food, but it's the wrong kind of food.
I would say diet first and foremost, but there is a nutrition gap in the population. Hence, a low-dose supplement that's designed to bridge that gap is both safe and beneficial.
But she's also invited in two independent academics, and they don't agree with what they've heard.
You cannot convert an unhealthy diet into a healthy one by taking supplements. Fruit and vegetables give you a whole range of nutrients which you do not get from a purified supplement.
What's more, they believe that some vitamins can do you more harm than good.
There is substantial evidence to show that a range of vitamins and minerals can have serious adverse effects.
So they're actually harmful?
Absolutely, that they can be harmful, especially at high doses.
There's a viewpoint out there, well, it won't do you any harm, so why not take them anyway?
One study looked at the potential benefit of pregnant women taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. The results were alarming.
There were no benefits whatsoever in this group of taking a supplement of vitamin C, but that there was an increase in the incidence of premature delivery.
And then you get another trial that shows the opposite of that. That's the dilemma we have.
It really is a minefield.
So there are dangers to having high doses?
There are huge dangers associated with having high doses.
The question of safety was answered 5 years ago. The Food Standards Agency put together an expert group. I mean, after 2 years of looking at all the data, nothing came off the market. There were no real big scares.
There are benefits, there are risks. People need to know what their choices are so they can make an informed decision. Supplements are safe and can be beneficial.
I would say the same, so long as you take one that is reasonably low dose.
It's clear that vitamin supplements are not cuddly toys.
Well, thank you, all of you, for contributing to the panel and a very stimulating and exciting discussion this afternoon. Thank you.
While people with some health issues can really benefit by taking a supplement, potential risks have been shown in other groups of people. So if you are healthy and going to take a supplement, you really need to know what that particular supplement is going to do for you. Which is why Professor Regan has one crucial piece of advice.
If you're going to buy vitamins, ask to see the evidence that they're a real benefit, and also ask to see the research and whether it's being carried out on sick people or on healthy people.
So are vitamin supplements in or out? Well, if you're healthy and eat a good diet, they don't make it in. Professor Regan's scientific search is finally over. She's created a diet clinic filled with products that are scientifically proven to really work. She's found a diet that will help you stay fit, healthy, and slim for life. Food that will help reduce your risk of disease and expose the products where the science behind the claims simply don't add up.
I think we'd all like to find a shortcut method to staying slim and being healthy. But despite all the research that we've undertaken, I still haven't found one. The only scientifically proven method is eating well and exercising regularly. So if someone comes to offer you a quick fix, make sure you ask for the evidence. And if it sounds too good to be true, then I expect it probably is.